Hello friends, welcome back to another episode on God's Principles for Healthy Relationships. My name is Martin Raj, this is my wife Debbie. We are certified life and relationship coaches, and our passion is to heal relationships between God, self and others. And that is the only way to show and have love in our life, because our relationships have been broken because of sin. And we have the vision to help in that aspect so that people can find true love and also to mend the relationship with God. Today's topic is on conversational chemistry. To have stronger connections, you need to have good communication. Colossians chapter 4 verse 6 says, "Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt." Now, what does good communication look like to us? Well, I would like to start off and then my wife will share. For me, the good communication looks like communicating with a friend. How would you talk with a friend? You are clear, you're direct, you are friendly, intentional, vulnerable. You don't expect your friend to read your mind. You share your heart with vulnerability. You're very clear. You also ask them several questions to know what they are going through, how they are, because you care about them. You are sincere in your friendship. You are willing to listen to their heart when they want to share. When they go through some tough times, you are there for them because you care for them. This is the same principle that applies to romantic relationships, because we strongly believe that friendship doesn't end as soon as you start a relationship. Friendship doesn't end even after you get married. You need to have that friendship for the rest of your life. And that is how I see a good communication in relationships. Love, what do you have to say?
So for me, good communication, I have a saying that is, good communication is the mother of everything. But good communication for me is being able to talk heart to heart and try to understand each other's heart more than anything else, and be able to be vulnerable in a safe place where you can be yourself and yet not be fearful if you're going to be judged, scolded, or what's going to happen. And that at the same time, we can be humble and apologize if needed. So good communication is a safe environment where we can be ourselves, express our heart, and have understanding and an empathetic heart listening. And I've realized that good communication in marriage is an area we really have to develop, especially the listening part of communication. So we will talk a little bit more, but that's for me what communication is.
Yes, so let us get into some good communication tools. And of course, it starts off with care and kindness. As Debbie was sharing, it is not just about sharing, but having that compassion, right? Compassion, having that you are able to relate with them, you are able to have that empathy, the kindness. So, speaking the truth in love. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 15 says, "Not hiding things in your heart." You don't hide things in your relationship, just as in your friendship. You share openly. You don't have to let it pile up, and you don't let it be in the burner brewing and boiling where it is going to burst up one day. But you speak the truth in love.
Another principle is caring, communicate with love and also with a kind spirit. And there's a lot of biblical references for this principle. In Proverbs 31:26, it says that the virtuous woman and the virtuous person, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. So even when we have to share direct things, are we being kind in the way we share it?
The next tool would be to have appreciation and praise. And we are here to say there is a lot of people that don't receive appreciation and praise from their spouse. You know, Proverbs chapter 16 verse 24 says, "Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the bones." You know, appreciation doesn't have to be huge. Just a word of saying, "Oh, this is delicious food." you look beautiful. These are you have done this something, whatever it might be, maybe like cleaning the house, organizing the house. My wife really loves to organize the house and keep it clean. And whenever I see that, I take time to appreciate. I praise her for that because she has put some effort in it. Even though she likes it, she really has passion for it. But it is my duty to let her know how much I appreciate it. And with the meals, I take time to appreciate her because she has gone through so much effort to prepare it. When it is delicious, I definitely tell it at least 3 to 5 times because I am enjoying it. When I enjoy it, she needs to know that she is appreciated. She has also shared that some of the people that she knows in their family, they don't receive that appreciation, and that they would wish their husbands or their wives would appreciate them. And it has become a funny thing between us. It's like, oh, I'm so glad I married you because you are this, this, and this. And we, even though it is like a joke, but we really mean it as well, because who else is going to appreciate you more than your spouse? You know.
So we're going to go now to listening and understanding. That's an area that it's so important to develop. And I was shocked at the beginning of our relationship, and when one day my husband actually was like, "You are not really listening. You are more talkative than me." And I was like, what in the world? Like, I was always told I was the quiet and the shy, so I don't even believe what you're saying. And so I was kind of like shocked. And after that few minutes, I was just in silence. He was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I just cannot believe what you told me, that I'm more talkative than you." And so I was like, this is like not in my understanding of who I am at all. And then he was just like, "Just pay attention." And I realized that I had an issue with truly listening, and sometimes even cutting him off, and sometimes being very impulsive and emotional when he would share something. I would be like, "No, that's not right. You know, that's unjust." And I was like, whoa, I have a little bit more of my parents than I knew, that impulsive and just more talkative aspect. So listening and understanding is very key. And not just hearing, but truly repeating back what you are hearing through your ears to make sure you understood that in your heart, because sometimes you think you understood, you answer right away. This happens to me many times, and I'm truly more aware now and trying to work on it. But it's so, so important to listen and try to understand.
Yes, it was a shocker for me as well. When I got acquainted with Debbie, she was a very calm person. She wouldn't talk with many people, and you would have seen in previous episodes we speak about how she's the introvert, I am the extrovert, and she prefers to have one-on-one conversation, have quality conversation. But for me, talking with a whole bunch of people, it was a fun thing. But when we would have our personal time, it was really hard for me to talk because she would take over the conversation, and I would actually lose my train of thought. I would have been going with one point trying to say another thing, but she would have jumped in and say certain things, and then the whole conversation would go in a different route. And then I was like, okay, so she's maybe introvert, but among us, the two of us, she is the extrovert and I'm the introvert. So it was fun, and we did notice there are other couples where extroverts become introverts when they are in a private setting, and the introverts become the otherwise in the private setting. Anyway, that's just a little bit of ourselves, and it is good to know as well, in case you are trying to find a romantic partner, you want to be in a relationship, just know that if you see them to be an extrovert, or an introvert rather, if you see them to be an introvert in a private setting, you're not going to talk much. Just putting it out there. And we do have fun. So there is no issues there. We have fun, and then I had to tell her, that is my next point. Express your desires and dislikes clearly. You don't expect the other person to read your mind. be proactive and not passive. Sometimes this you can see more than men, that at least I've observed, more than men. Women expect the husbands or their boyfriends to read them, read the mind. Oh, he needs to find out what I am expecting. He needs to know what I like. But I might be wrong, but I'm just sharing what I've observed. And I think it makes it a lot more smoother in a relationship, in a marriage. If you are open, if you are direct, don't give this silent treatment. If there is an issue, communicate it clearly. Express yourself. I had to tell Debbie openly, hey, listen, yes, I really love that you're talking, but you need to let me talk as well. After I finish what I want to say, then you share your stuff. So it is very vital to express each other desires and dislikes clearly, so the other person will know they are not guessing, they are not mind reading. Because if she is going to guess what I need for my birthday, it's going to be a huge trouble for her, because I might be thinking anything in this world. But if I am very clear, okay, these are my interests and these are some things I don't like, she knows, okay, this is a variety of things, but not as bad as the other one. I can choose one of those things. So, same thing with the issues. If you have issues, open up clearly. If you have some dislikes or likes, share that as well, and your partner will be able to appreciate you more.
Another area is acknowledge the person's need for communication. So some people need more, others need less, and they're okay with that. And we're all different. Even in the spectrum of introverts, not all of us might fall in the same category. But it is very important to acknowledge and understand, you know, what does my partner or even my friend needs? Like, I have a very good friend, and she would communicate daily for her needs. She needs a lot more communication. I prefer more quality and longer sessions, but maybe once a week or every 2 weeks, and not just little chit chat on a daily basis. But then we have to understand each other. She needs to understand that I prefer more quality time, and I need to make a little effort to adjust to be more consistent, even in little things. So with any friendship, any relationship, it is important to just consider the different needs and the different ways how we can communicate better.
And now we are going to share few of the communication tools that helped us. And after implementing these tools, we see a better understanding of each other, a little more quality we are able to see in our relationship. And it is still a growing process, and we still try to implement them on a regular basis. The first one is making time for communication and undivided attention. We say undivided attention because sometimes if you see one person is talking and the other person is on their cell phone, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and typing stuff, and it would make the other person feel like maybe they are not listening to what I'm saying, or maybe they are not even recognizing what's happening, and the person that is not, or that is scrolling their phones, might be lost sometimes in what they are watching than to listen. So we make it a point that we sit down together, we have times where we just sit down together and we communicate. No cell phones, no computer, nothing to distract, but just to share what is in our heart, especially things of vital matters. It doesn't have to be issues necessarily, but anything of vital importance. Take time when one person is saying in your relationship that, hey, I want us to talk about this. I think this is very important for us. Put your cell phones away, put your books away, put your computer, TV, everything away. Sit down, have an undivided conversation, so you both are able to listen to each other and understand what is the point that is brought up there, or points that are brought up there.
And actually, if you think about it, when you started dating, any little thing the person says or does, it's like you are ready to just see them, ask them what they need, and just are very, very connected with them. So if they just did like a little noise, you're like, yes, what do you need? Or like, you're very attentive. So when it comes to marriage, we lose that many times because we get used to each other, the day, the routine, everything just pushes to not have that ability to really every little noise be so attentive, but we need to make the effort for that to really be a little more present in the moment. So another thing that has really helped us, and this especially has been helpful for me, is something that our counselors told us. When you have an issue, when you have something that you don't know how to address it, and you are fearful it might become a big deal or it might be a sensitive topic, use this phrase. The story I am making up in my head is such and such and such. And be willing to reframe your story and readjust it, rewrite it according to what the person says. So as you share the story, you're not blaming the other person. You're not saying this is true. This is what you are imagining. This is what you're believing. And you just want to know, is it true? Or can you share with me your side? And so it was so helpful because when we started the relationship, I had a lot of trauma from previous situations that I was afraid to bring topics that would be sensitive and that it will just be the end or the person would just ignore or try to excuse or whatever. And so I would get this high blood pressure going, and then I would even repeat and repeat what I would say in my head, and then it would become such a big deal that my boyfriend at that time, my husband now, he would be like, what's going on? You're not acting natural. Like, something is not right. And I would be like, I'm fine, because I didn't feel ready to express. And he was like, you're not fine. And then this helped me so much because I felt I knew how to put it into words. And as I learned that it was a safe person, my boyfriend, to express my heart, he wouldn't feel shocked or angry, but he will take it and explain clearly. I was like, wow, it's not such a big deal. This is a new experience for me. And it was very, very helpful. So we highly recommend you use it, especially for difficult, sensitive things. Don't let them pile up and try to reframe them and really think how the other person will take it. And use kindness, use the principles of the Bible to communicate, but just express what is in your heart. And as you communicate, you will have a better picture. And many times what you imagine is not at all what is the true story. And so you won't have to develop high blood pressure and all of those other symptoms because of it.
Yeah, it was really hard for me during that time because I have no clue. She wouldn't express immediately. And for me, along with her, my blood pressure rises too because I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Like, is there an issue with me or someone else, or why is she acting the way she is acting? And she's just quiet. And for me, everything feels like it's getting gloomy and I'm trying to figure out. But then I told her, hey, you know what? You need to express it to me clearly so I know what it is about. And then if there is something that needs to be sorted out among ourselves, we can sort it out instead of you holding on to it and struggling with it and torturing yourself. Share it with me so we both can discuss and see what is the best solution for it. And
something else I want to add in these lines is that whatever we were raised with, communication styles also really impact our communication with our partner. So if in our home it was very open how we share things and we really could communicate in a safe environment and the emotions were freely expressed but with respect and kindness, that's going to help. But if it was more impulsive and more harsh words and more fighting and arguing, then for me, conflict was danger zone. So anything I would communicate couldn't start a conflict, because that was not a good thing. So I had to reframe a lot of things, but if we learn to communicate well and we learn how to face differences in a healthy way, then it's only something better that can come out of it.
yes, absolutely. And this part, the story I am making up in my head, was also helpful for me because before I would start blaming her instead of actually expressing what is in my heart, I would just say, okay, you are doing this because of this, and I don't like it. Those type of things that I would say, and she would be like, why are you blaming me? That is not even da 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 da. But then this part gave me a clear and a helpful understanding and a way of telling things, expressing myself, and I don't have to blame her. So the story I'm making up in my head is this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and therefore I feel this, this, and this. And I'm not blaming her anywhere. I'm just expressing what I think I'm making up, because we as humans have the tendency to make up stories. We see something and we start making up stories. We listen to someone saying something, we start making up stories, and we don't try to see if it is a truth or not, if it is a reality or not. But this part really helped us in having a smoother conversation, especially when it comes to conflicts. The next one is having regular check-ins to know how the other person is doing. So this is something Debbie initiated. Every month, we started celebrating month-iversary every month on the 6th, because that is when we started our relationship. So on the 6th of every month, we talk about positives and things that we could work on, and Debbie would be like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate whatever? How would you rate our relationship? What are things that you like in this relationship? What are some things that you would like me to change in the relationship? So that is something that was helpful for me as well.
Yes, it's so important to have that time where you can share openly, like maybe I feel we are on a 5, like we really have some struggles, difficulties, so then you can say, so why? What could we do better? Or as well, we had a question that it was like, what are you missing in the relationship? And sometimes we were like, more quality time. And we realized many times we both were missing the same things. Until now in our marriage, we implement that. Like, what are you missing? And sometimes it's like more dates, more time alone that we can go and have, again, quality time. And so it's very important to have regular check-ins, times that we can communicate and express with each other.
And it helps us to know where both of us stand, or else we are assuming that the other person is fine in the relationship. Especially once you are married, that goes down the drain. You're not really intentional to know about each other, where we each other stand, unless you put a solid effort in it. So it is helpful to know on a scale of 1 to 10. You don't have to say exactly on a scale of 1 to 10. You can ask your partner, how do you feel? What do you think about this relationship or this marriage? What can be implemented? What do you think you need more? What do you think we need less of? So the other person will be able to share as well. Be intentional in the relationship.
Yes, it's super, super helpful. And I know of even married couples, for years married, they don't really check on each other. And so maybe the husband thinks, oh, my marriage is perfect. And the wife is feeling like this marriage is collapsing. Like, I feel so depleted. And actually, I heard one time this couple sharing that, and the husband thought they were like a 10. And the wife was like, we are like minus 1,000, like it's really far. And so then the husband said, well, what is one thing, 1 degree that I can get up in the scale? And so it might start, sometimes you might be so far, especially when married, but even in relationships, so far that you are actually needing to go step by step, moving forward, closer together.
Yes. And as we are coming to the close of this episode, we have another challenge. Next time you think you understood something your spouse or your romantic partner is sharing, write it down on your phone or a piece of paper and ask your partner if what is written down is what they meant or shared. Update your perception. This way, it is like a foolproof, you know. You are writing it down, you are knowing what the other person is sharing, and that way you both are on the same page. Well, today we have seen conversational chemistry on God's principles for healthy relationships. We will see you in the next episode. God bless.